I'm talking to you from the Leadership Centre at Pengreen Research Base in Corby, and there's a very specific reason why I wanted to do that. First of all, it illustrates, I think, very neatly the investment that we want to make in leadership at all levels in our organisation and across all our partnerships. But it also tells us something about the investment we want to make in early intervention and prevention, and a particular investment in the 0 to 5 services that I'm partially responsible for across Northamptonshire. A couple of very specific reasons why I wanted to talk on this clip. One is to say thank you for the magnificent work that's been done over the last year or so in the service areas that I'm responsible for, in the partnerships that surround those, and all the stakeholders that are involved in that. Schools, heads of school, practitioners within schools, but then more broadly, all the partners and stakeholders, and in fact children and young people who work within extended provision. A tremendous thank you to them for the hard work and commitment they've put in over the last year. What that's meant is a quite outstanding performance improvement over the last year in a number of key areas. We have, for example, developed our extended services across schools to the extent that we're now ahead of the game nationally in terms of our delivery of those services to what's called a full core offer. If you take our Not in Education, Employment and Training target, for example, which people know as NEET, last year we managed, with our connections partners, to successfully reach a really challenging target, and we are just about on track to meet that target again this year. We've made some sensational progress in terms of reducing the numbers of young people who are at risk of offending and subsequently go into the criminal justice system. And again, that's bucking the trend nationally and fantastic results in that area. We've also made some tremendous progress in our 14 to 19 world, which is much more about providing the right kinds of provision for young people to make progress and achieve their potential in their education after they leave school. And finally, we've made some superb efforts to improve our work around youth provision in the county, and we're doing some radical work around area-based working in youth provision, which is going to start in April this year, which I'm really excited about. What's critical to that, in my view, and what's critical to our continued improvement are two specific things. One is innovation, and I'm talking to you on something called an Enable platform, which, not being a technical person, I don't really understand, but what I do understand is the opportunities that it gives us to communicate more openly, more fully, and in very different ways to perhaps we've been used to doing within the public sector over recent years. And this is a great example of how we can use this technology to our advantage. And I'd really encourage all our partners and our stakeholders, and certainly the staff that I'm responsible for, to get involved in that and to look at ways of pushing the envelope, if you like, to make sure that we make best use of the technologies that we have available to us in what is a very big and diverse county. The second very important point to make is about leadership. Now, leadership is essentially about delivering the vision, and that's one of the reasons why I've brought the cameras here to this fantastic resource out in Corby. That vision, very straightforwardly, is about achieving better outcomes for all children, young people and families within Northamptonshire, but also about enabling young people and their families to achieve their potential and to make a positive contribution to local communities. I think another key element of that is understanding that leadership isn't necessarily something that you end up on a 2-week training course to achieve. It's about understanding how you bring people around you with you, and it's about understanding the relationship between your work in probably a very moribund office somewhere in the middle of Northampton and what's happening out there in local communities, in local people's ordinary worlds, and we've got to make sure we connect those as effectively as we possibly can. And that brings me on to talk a little bit about area working. I'm fortunate to have a key leadership role in the area working context. Corby and Kettering is my area, which again is why I'm sitting here, and I'm very excited by that, and I know we have a huge partnership and stakeholder investment in area working as we move forward. But what that's going to mean, the challenge for us, is for all partners, all practitioners, everybody who works within the children's services world, slightly shifting and changing the way they work and how they approach both each other and delivery to children and families. And what that means in reality is that children and families will really be at the centre of our delivery, and we will shape ourselves around them. There's definitely a policy move nationally towards localism as an idea, and from my point of view, and I've lived this for many years in my own career, the importance of being close to local communities and local people and understanding their own needs is really the key to success in delivering effective services within and without Northamptonshire. A final point really is that we've talked a little bit about enable and the platform. We need to communicate better across the county. Everybody accepts that, everybody knows that. We're a big county, we're a diverse population. Investments in products like this and ways of working like this are inevitably going to be the future and should be the future. And we should, in my view, walk towards those changes as a way of really being able to both contextualise and celebrate the good work that we're doing, but also do some of that work on a practical basis. Overall, the story for extended services and extended provision in Northamptonshire over the last year is an enormously positive one. We face some huge challenges, both around, I think, the finance envelope, as it's called, but also around embedding our area working, and I'm very, very excited to be playing a key role in that moving forward in delivering that vision for local services for local people. Thank you very much for watching this clip. If you want to get involved in extended services and extended provision, please come and do so. You're very welcome, and have a good year.